Hey, how's it going? I'm Paul Darty, and today we're talking about vision, and I'm so excited to share on this topic with you. I want to share a story with you from Genesis chapter 15. You see, there was this guy named Abram who was getting old, and he kind of was a little bitter because he had never had any kids, and he was realizing that his days were coming to a close here on this earth, and all of a sudden, God decides to show up. At the end of his life, finally God shows up. And so Abram's got a few words to exchange with him, and I want to read it to you. God says, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward." Well, that's a great statement. But then Abram replies, "Sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless? And the one who will inherit my estate isn't even from my family." Then Abram said, "You've given me no kids, so a servant in my household is going to be my heir." He's kind of upset here. He's a little bitter. And then God says, "Okay, let me paint the vision for you. This man will not be your heir, but indeed a son coming from your own body will be your heir." Then God takes him outside. Now he's showing him the vision outside. He says, "Look up at the heavens. Count the stars if you can." God's kind of making a joke here with Abram. He's saying, "Count the stars if you can." Abram's like, "That's not funny. I can't count all those stars." And God says, "Exactly. So shall your offspring be." Now, we could stop right here and Abram could get really upset and think, yeah, that's a great joke. But the truth is, Abram believed God. He actually believed God. When you get a vision from God, first it starts with believing that he can do it. Abram believed God could fulfill the vision, the promise that he gave him. And it says in verse 6, because Abram believed the Lord, God credited it to him as righteousness. So first you have to believe that the vision that God's placed inside of you can come to pass. Abram believed, and therefore God credited it to him as righteousness. Do you have a vision? Is there something burning in your heart that keeps you up at night, that you can't get rid of? Something that you've gone years and years and you still remember that you're called to do this. Don't let it go to waste. Don't go to the grave without accomplishing that vision, without putting some motion towards it. You know, I think about my dad. You know, this worship center was built in the last 5 years of his life. Now, he could have said, "God, it's kind of late, don't you think? I mean, I'm in my late 40s here, and we still haven't built this vision that you gave me 20 years ago." But God said, "Listen, don't give up on the vision. Continue to breathe hope. Continue to work towards it. Don't give up on the vision." And I'm speaking to someone right now who's watching this. Don't give up on the vision God's placed in your heart. I look behind me and I see a 5,000 seat auditorium. This vision was inside his heart. It was in my dad's mind. I remember walking on this grass with him before this thing was ever built. Me and my dad and my brother, we'd walk out here and we'd pray together, and my dad would speak, "One day I see this building, I see this church that would reach thousands, that would train up missionaries and pastors and plant other churches across the world." And I remember we would be meeting in our gymnasium next door here, or we'd be meeting across the street in the Mabee Center, and my dad would continue just to cast the vision, remind the people. Habakkuk says, write down the vision, make it plain, draw up a blueprint. So he had this blueprint, and he would show it on the PowerPoint screen and remind the people, hey, this is where we're going one day. And we're standing in the reality of the vision that was in his heart. Do you have a vision? How can you make it a reality? Begin to trust God. Believe God that he can do it. Remember, God can do anything. Nothing is impossible. If your vision can be done without God, then it's not a vision from God. Make sure the vision that you have in your heart requires God to do something miraculous on your behalf in order for this vision to come to pass. And do what Abram did. Just believe him. Just trust him. Doesn't even matter what the circumstances look like. Just have that unwavering faith that I know my God is faithful. He will show up. And one day you'll be standing in the reality of your vision and you'll say, "Listen, I didn't give up." So don't give up on the vision God's placed on the inside of you. I'm excited to see what God does in you and through you in the days to come. God bless you.